This is the Bar Stewards Enquiry.
Right? You're talking absolute rubbish. Absolute rubbish.
In what way?
You were an underachiever in life. I saved your bacon one time. You were gone.
You handled that well. I couldn't save you. But you did the right thing.
But that's why you don't know anything about racing, John.
I didn't say I do.
Right?
I'm saying that...
What have you contributed to racing? You're one of these take-out merchants. Take out all you can.
Hello, and a very warm welcome to the Bar Stewards Enquiry Weekend Podcast. Yes, it's the flat season finale at Doncaster. No, it's not. It's Newcastle, of course. Switch to the artificial surface. And we've got the Grand Sefton at Aintree and the Badger Beer at Wincanton, where everyone does the bollocks on that unless you're on front end, which is might be a case for fraud on. But we'll ask our wonderful panel tonight what we think of that later in the show. But without further ado, let's give a warm welcome to John Lang, Andy Richmond, Nev and Andy. Good evening, chaps.
Good evening.
Evening, everyone.
Yeah, good stuff. Right, so without further ado, we'll get on to best bets round. For anyone that's not listened before, we go 1, 2, and 3 points. Start off with a 1 point round. Gonna go to you, John, for your 1 pointer.
It's actually in the November Handicap, and it's a little bit of a shot in the dark because I'm not convinced there's going to be enough pace on, but I'm giving one small operator another go. He goes well round here, acts well on the track. I'm not certain some of these will. As I said, the lack of pace is a worry. The last time out when I laughed, he was like the best bet going forward at the 4-day stage, I thought. However, Newcastle's not the easiest place to make all, I don't think.
No.
And I think somebody will get at it early enough to turn this into a bit of a race from a fair way out. If that happens, I think this lad has a decent chance. He's let me down too many times to go gung-ho, so I'm just going a point win.
Point win at 22s with Paddy's Betfair, John.
Yeah, that'll do.
Yeah, nice start. Look, I have always thought that Brian's got the trick wrong for this horse, and I feel that the step back to a mile and a half, even 10 furlongs suits this horse better when he's been trying to stretch him out. So hopefully he can run big for you at that price. Coming on to me then, I'm against you in the race. Same race, November Handicap 345. I'm going for the Cartier Sprint Awards winner with Shaquille. The team there have had a terrific year, despite a virus in the yard mid to late season, the Camachos. But Beraz, I thought, was very interesting. Really strong form with Roaring Legend Hamilton. That's worked out really well. I thought it did very well to overhaul Zeryab last time, out over 10, despite the race not being run to suit. I think the step up back to 12 is really good. It's Cape Cross on the dam side. The Sibley has just won on the all-weather in France, running to 3 figures in a decent race in France. So I'm confident Beraz will like the surface. And the 10-1 with Paddy's and Betfair is very attractive for a 1 point win stake, despite Graham Lee. Lovely pair of hands in the sand. We'll come on to you, Andy, for your 1 point.
Rather surprisingly, I'm going to Newcastle as well, but not in the November Handicap. Okay. Even more surprisingly, this is a bit like Nick Davis having a bet in a Fillies Handicap.
It is.
Yes, I'm going. It's one of my last remaining hopes for BTB this season, which I've put to bed on the flat. But Bournemouth Bank in the nursery for Spitting Mick and Son. There's a horse who interested me when he was 4th of 6 at York, for those of you with long memories, because it was 7 weeks ago, when he was 4th of 6 behind Politico. Now, there wasn't an awful lot of pace in the race. It was absolutely balls all of it. The finishing speed was 106.9% in the end. The winner turned in a pretty decent performance. The winner was Politico, and he had a pretty soft lead and was able to set his own fractions. Now, Bournemouth Bank was making his handicap debut from just out of the handicap, and I just think he was the major sufferer from a pace and track position perspective. He certainly wasn't seen to the best effect. In an effort to get into the race off a slow pace, he ran the quickest furlong of the whole race when he clocked 11.28 for the 5th furlong, and he then had to follow that up with an 11.57 for the penultimate furlong. Again, the quickest of the whole field for that section of the race. It's hardly surprising he was left found a little bit wanting to finish. I thought that was a more than respectable effort. He's been dropped a couple of pounds to a mark of 68, which I believe he runs off there, and that was a 0 to 95 contest. This is a little bit easier. It's a little bit shot in the dark, end of the season. This might be a bit of an afterthought. He might be a better horse next year. But with Smiley Joe on board, and I am back to 6 furlongs, hopeful of a decent pace. I'll have half a point each way on Bulmer Bank to finish off my flat season.
13 to 2 generally available. I can't give you the 9s with Denise, obviously. That's
I know you.
You make a good case there. I back Bulmer Bank in that race. So yeah, I think you make a very good
He
point.
might be a better horse next year. He looks like he could be a decent handicapper next year. But if you go back and watch that effort, you'll see that he was completely. And you look at as you do, Lee, the sectionals, then he really didn't have an awful lot of chance of the way the race was run. And hopefully you'll get a decent pace to run. So there's some decent types in there tomorrow. It's a bit of a shot in the dark. I'm not a massive fan of Newcastle on the flat, I must admit. But on a day when, to be honest with you, I couldn't find an awful lot tomorrow that seemed like the best of the bad options.
Good stuff, Andy. So that's Andy's selection, Bulmer Bank, from a time perspective and sort of how the race was run last time. I agree. Neville, Bulmer Bank's ridden by the best female jockey in the UK today, Joanna Mason.
Correct.
And she rides for you, Nev. She's rode Cold Henry for you.
I suppose she's our stable jockey, really.
Have you ever rode work for you?
Have you?
Yeah, brilliant.
You've probably seen that video on Sky Sports where they're advertising. Sky Sports are advertising. They're advertising one of the bookmakers. I don't know who advertises there, which bookmaker, and the show's Joanna saying it's all about
all of them.
Probably Sky
Bet.
Sky Bet.
Well, one of my horses is on there. She's riding one of my horses on that video. Anyway, she has ridden work. She's extremely good, competent, very good.
Yeah, and she's a lovely person as well. I've spoken to her. I hope she goes on to like mega things as a flat jockey. I think she will. She's got the talent.
She was probably late 20s when she turned professional.
Because she was amateur for a good while, and she was. I mean, to be fair, she was mopping up in the amateurs, weren't she? The lady amateurs, she was making them look daft. I think her judgment of pace is really good. I think she knows when they're going too quick. I think she knows when. She's got a lot of savvy. I mean, riding around Beverley in these 10 furlong amateur rider races, it's never easy, but she manages to get the job done. So, good selection, Andy. Right, Nev, you're 1 point.
I'm going to go to rescheduled Down Royal meeting.
And
it's a cracking card there on tomorrow on Saturday. Some really smart horses on show, and there's a 40 grand handicap, a 0 to 150 at 145. I actually think it could have been stronger than it actually is. The horse that I'm going to go for as my third best bet of the weekend is number 4, the Model Kingdom, who is a mare who was given she had a break from her last run at Punchestown, and then they brought her back 163 days later to run on the flat at Thurles, and she started odds on, and she was beaten by a youthful horse of Willie Mullins called Immelman, and she would have been close had she not blown the turn into the home straight. I think that race was more or less just to get her right for this one, because she's not a flat mare, she's not even flat bred. I think it's to put her right for her seasonal reappearance, which was 37 days ago. All right, she's not thrown in, and the handicapper probably knows just about where he is with her, but she's very seldom out the numbers. In fact, if you look through her form, she's only ever once been out the first 3 in all of her starts, and that was in a Grade 2 race at Cheltenham. That race at Cheltenham also featured one of tomorrow's rivals called Foxy Girl, who is £4 better in and did finish in front of her, but I'm going to ignore that run. I don't think the Model Kingdom was anywhere near what she had produced that season. And she's not thrown in by any means, but she's super consistent, and you'll get a good run for your money. And at around I would imagine it's reasonable odds, because it's a quality handicap. I'm going to go for the Model Kingdom in the 145 at Down Royal.
4 to 1 generally available. Is that what sort of price you expected, Nev?
Not really, no.
What were you expecting?
Can I leave it SP? Can I leave her SP?
Do you want Betfair SP?
Yeah.
I can give you Betfair SP. Yeah.
I think I'd have thought, is she favourite, is she? I'd have thought that they'd gone at least 4.
7 to 2 Foxy Girl, 4 to 1 Party Central, 4 to 1 Model Kingdom. So I think Betfair SP is a shrewd move. I'd go with that.
Will there
I've
be a
told
bet
John
fair this
that
time
before and
next
robbed
year?
him.
Will Betfair still be going with all this?
No, we're all gone. We're all fucked.
Yeah.
It's like one of them shops that's like, I don't know, getting looted. And you just take what you can off the shelves until they just say, that's it. We're boarding the windows up and we've closed the door in. We armed guards. And that's it. That is literally what it is. It's grab what you can until the game finishes. Oh, positive. So Model Kingdom for Nev, 1 point at fours. Lovely big mare she is. I love her on looks for sure. We'll swing it back round then. So Andy, 2 point round.
I've got to go to the Badger beer, haven't I?
Ooh.
No, but I'm not going to go with. Well, Paul Nicholls has got a good record in the race, and will be. If you're watching ITV, you'll probably be sick of Frodon and Bryony by the end of the afternoon. So I won't be watching.
Be a story. Be a story.
Yeah, and he's also got. He's obviously also got 3 under through 5. Which I can't remember what that's called. Obviously a golfing terminology. I can't remember what it's referring to. I think it's something in the Ryder Cup. But I'm going to avoid both of those and avoid his record in the race, and go with a horse I liked last year, and he might be a little bit inexperienced for this race, but Anthony Honeyball has got 4 in this particular contest tomorrow. Sam Brown looks to be the best in the betting, but I reckon that thing is as slow as a boat and needs further. And he does make the odd mistake as well. And I'm going to go with the lightly weighted Blackjack Magic down the bottom, ridden by the Dingle Man, Rex. I quite like this one when he won at Uttoxeter back in April, and I just think he's just open to further progress. He's only had 4 chases in his life, won 2 of them. Doesn't matter what happens to the ground, because if it does piss down, we're okay on that score. Got a nice lightweight, 10 stone 2, right sort of age group. Think he's probably, I think some of the books were offering 4 places, and I saw him at a double figure price. So if he's a double figure price and 4 places, I'll have a peg each way on Blackjack Magic, hopefully to spoil the Nicholls party.
That's 11 to 1 Betfair, Paddy Power, 4 places for Andy. That's not a bad bet at all in terms of the case made there. Let's Frodon, I'm sure, will be ITV's darling in the pre-parade and during the post-parade. If it wins, they'll be going bananas.
During and after, I think, is the words.
Absolutely, under Brian Frost. I love Andy's selection there. So Andy kicks off the 2 point round. John, I'm coming to you for your 2 pointer, please.
2 pointer is in the 5 o'clock at Chelmsford. He's trained by friend of the show, Gay Kellaway. In Between Us. This one went into the notebook. What I thought would probably be just about the best filly she had in the yard when she ran on nicely into 5th on debut at Goodwood on soft ground. She didn't back that up next time, but there was an excuse. She was slowly away, and I don't think she faced the kickback as well as she might have first time on the all-weather. As a result of that, Billy Loughnane brought her wide into the straight. But it wasn't a very strongly run heat, and obviously she couldn't get there, and he just allowed her to come home in her own time. If he had pushed her out, she should have finished a close-up 6th rather than a detached 6th. It wouldn't have made any difference. The subsequent form of the ones out of that race isn't bad. I'm assuming she'll have had some work on the all-weather since then. We might get to see the promise of the debut fulfilled. I don't think this is a deep race at all. I cannot believe the price. 1 point each way.
Yeah, 16 to 1 generally available. 20s if you're lucky to have a Stoke-on-Trent account. That's only 3 places, John, just so you're aware. But you do get 16 to 1 for your 1 point each way. Nice big price choice there at Chelmsford. If you're still alive by then, after the TV feast that we've got coming that afternoon. Nev, I'll come back to you for your 2 pointer.
My 2 pointer is Wincanton 3:32 race, and it's the least exposed horse of the field. 8 mares go to post, and Lime Avenue. I don't think she fulfilled what she was capable of last season. She won a bumper at Chepstow in October of 22, and she was so impressive, absolutely bolted up that day. Won by 14 lengths. Racing Post gave her a rating of 113, which for a mare is almost the equivalent of about 120 for a gelding. So it was a really good start to a career. All 4 starts or her 3 starts subsequently have not quite matched that. But her final run last season was over the track when she beat one of tomorrow's rivals, Great Snow, by 5 lengths, and she's I think I calculated at £5 or £4 worse in for that, but she ought to really confirm that form. She's extremely well bred, well related. The dam has thrown 2 smart sorts in Rogue Angel and Fire in His Eyes. And interestingly, all her runs have been when she's wore a tongue tie. She's now had wind surgery, and she could be extremely well handicapped. There is no better trainer at pitching his either novices or horses that haven't run in handicaps before into their first handicap. He seems to place them so well, does Paul Nicholls. His price is not going to be great, but she's open to any amount of improvement. And she's going to be my 2-point, sort of my second best bet over the weekend. Lime Avenue in the Highclere Thoroughbred Racing colours, 332 at Wincanton.
Good stuff. What sort of price are you expecting, Nev?
I've seen she's only 2 to 1.
Are you happy with 2 to 1 general?
No. Well, how can you be happy with 2 to 1 in a handicap? If there's 8 runners, it should be 7 to 1 the field, shouldn't it?
Neville and his price acceptance levels are tremendous. It's not like these Sarah and Neville ender gambles on the flat where you're mopping up all the 20s, 16s and 14s.
33 to 15 to 2.
Yeah, and you're doing windmills on the running as it's going clear. I've seen you, Nev, on ATR before.
That was at
It's
Worcester.
a sight to behold. Yeah, it was at Worcester. Nev doing windmills as the horse is bolting clear on the running. It's one of the best moments. I actually belly laughed when I saw it because it caught my eye. Like as you, it was top telly. That was great TV. Anyway,
On the way home though, it took all the fun out of it.
Bit of karma there, Nev. Continue the 2-point round to finish. I'll finish us off, hopefully, with a winner. And we go to the 1:15 at Wincanton. My colleague and good friend Andy Richmond has pointed out on his column on Edge regarding Venetia Williams and the absence in November for chasers and the outstanding wax figure, etc., etc. And what took my eye here, I'm sorry for doing this, Andy, but I had to check time form. And I like time form's sort of French ratings because they give you, I think, a fair guide. And if you look at the time form French chase ratings that this is ran to, it's around £6 to £8 clear of even the well-in Robert Walford runner.
I've written the name of the horse down already.
Enjoy your life anyway. Ned Fox, good old Ned. All good jockeys are called Ned.
He has got a fantastic record riding in these races for Venetia as well. I think he's 6 from 13. I'll have to check it. It was about that, yeah.
No, that's good.
I'll check it quickly in a minute.
But all good jockeys are called Ned. I mean, that's Nicky Henderson. He had Ned Kurt. That's all you need to know.
What about Ned Kelly?
Well, whatever. Yeah, all Neds are good. So Ned Fox is good in this type of race, like Andy says, and everything points towards the Venetia tomorrow. So I'm hoping that this can transform that French chase form. 3 spins over hurdles in the spring. I can't believe that they were seriously expecting anything. Did manage a good second to one that followed up of Paul Nicholls called Oscar Moonshine. But I think they've always held it back for coming back chasing this year. And a 6-year-old still, this could be still anything off 110. So that's where we're going. Enjoy your life. And the price is 13 to 2 with Paddy's Betfair. 2 points on the nose for moi. Right, that finishes the 2-point round.
Ned Fox literally is 6 from 13 in this sphere for the trainer.
Wow, that's really good. That is really good. So the stars are aligning with this one, I think. There we go. Right, 3-point round. This is the lucky 15 round, chaps. We need to pick our feet up after our disastrous Breeders' Cup. So, Jonas, I'm coming to you to kick us off for the max bet round.
This one's in the 240 at Newcastle. Avid notebook readers will be not surprised in the slightest to know I'm picking out Harry Did. Slowly away, and if Kermit got a dose, it was greener than his cock would be in this race at Kempton. at the back of the pack. He ain't got a clue what's going on. He's a big lad. Kempton probably didn't suit all that well. But he came home in eye-catching style once Bob Marley, he's on again, by the way, once he got him organised.
We're jamming.
That looked a fair maiden for the track and the grade. Normal Eustace progression ought to see this one in a decent figure here. I don't see there being any problem.
Bang. 3 points on the nostrils, John, at threes.
Only threes, yeah, well, all right.
Yeah. 2 rule books. But he's 7-2 with Denise, but...
Well, I'll be betting it with Denise.
Yeah, well, you'll have to go and visit Denise's household, John. John kicks us off with a banker shorty. I'll follow that up hopefully. Sense of Duty in the 205 at Newcastle in the Wentworth Stakes. I'm going to Chris Poole everybody now and say I've had 7-2 midweek with William Hill in the shops, etc. for some trumpets. Here we go, Chris Poole. Trumpet time. Yeah, well, why not? This is what it is. But 2-1 still is very good value. I rate this an 11-10 chance. There'll be people saying, well, how can you back a horse that's sort of come back? Ran in a grade 1 last time, not really kind of showing much. But there's a question mark here that she doesn't like slop. I mean, that's the thing. We don't know that because she'd never ran on slop prior to the last 2 runs. So,
given the last 2 runs, it's right with someone she didn't like it.
Well, she might not, this mare tomorrow, if she doesn't convert this, I personally think she's a bit of a steering job. I'm going to say this now because the run on reappearance when she was third over in an inadequate 5 is running to sort of round about 100 plus. Now, she gets the mare's allowance, which I think is amazing in this because you look at the top rated in this. The top rated in this, 102, Brad the Brief. That's got to give her £5. So that means she's got to run to 97 to beat Brad the Brief or finish dead heat with Brad the Brief. Well, of course she's going to run to bigger than that because she loved the all-weather last time she was on it. She slammed Anaf by 4.5 lengths in the chip chase. If anything like that, that's it. It's over. It's George Foreman time. It's George Foreman and Jerry Coetzee. That's it. Was it Jerry Coetzee that Foreman knocked out, John?
That one we watched, yeah.
Yeah.
If he didn't on the big two, he was going down, wasn't he?
That was a stunning knockout. And I think this at 2-1 is mega value. I would say 11-10 is around the true price, a sense of duty in the Wentworth. That's why you play at 2-1, so don't worry that people have had bigger anti-purse. It's just a case of it is what it is on the day. There's nothing to beat. Abraham Gold 101. That's got to give her £5. It's not going to give her £5, is it? Why would St Albans keep her in training? Waste of time. Just won't bother. They'd have just gone sheds. So there we go. Sense of Duty is the max bet for me at 2-1. Moving on to Neville.
Max bet is on Sunday at Naas. Another valuable handicap over 2 miles, 4 furlongs. It's a quality race. The horse I'm going for is actually a couple of pound out of the handicap, which I often would swerve. But this horse has improved since we last saw him over hurdles by as much as £8 or £9 on the flat since. And his mark of 116, although he's £2 wrong at the weights, takes him to 118. The horse in question is called Lord Erskine, who has had 8 runs since we last saw him over jumps, and he's improved on each of those on the flat. And he's a real mudlark, this horse. All right, it's a quality handicap. It's a 0 to 150, I think. I think the top one's 144. He didn't wear blinkers when we last saw him over the jumps, but he's subsequently worn them on the flat and he's improved for them. And now he's got them back, or he's wearing them over the jumps. It might be that could eke out a bit more improvement. As I said, he is £2 out of the handicap, but he loved the ground. He's right at the foot of the handicap. JJ Slevin, marvellous jockey. And I honestly don't know what price he is, but he's got to be double figure odds. And his love for soft ground, and it's going to be pretty testing there, that's for sure. He's going to mark him down for me as an absolute cast iron each way bet. So I'm going to go each way, 1.5 points each way, unless his odds are shorter. But I don't know. Do we know the price, Lee, at all?
There's no prices, so what I'll give you is Betfair SP and Betfair Place SP.
He's got to be 10s, hasn't he?
Well, you think so. I mean, on Betfair anyway, you're going to get better than the market. Betfair SP's fine on Lord Erskine for 1.5 each way, winning players, Nev. So we'll do that on Lord Foreskin, trained by Buck Rogers and ridden by JJ Slevin. Do you remember Buck Rogers, John?
I remember that bird that was the colonel, Erin Morgan.
You liked her.
Yeah, she was better than Buck Rogers.
What about the one that went beady beady beady? What about him? Hi, Buck.
No.
Nostalgia is TV nostalgia.
It was no good to me whatsoever.
Tweaky, that's what it's called. Tweaky. Yeah, on Buck Rogers.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, Tweaky. Anyway, digressing. Andy Richmond finishes off.
Right, get the asthmatic horse out.
Yes, you're going to go Venetia, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you think I had it already written down?
Well, I'm stealing your thunder here, really, because there
was a choice, wasn't there? Because we'll talk about Frero Bamboo when we get to the Sefton, which they could be running in snorkel and flippers.
Yeah.
And she's also got another very similar horse to this in JLo in the 210 at Aintree, which could also be running snorkel and flippers. And I did toss up the going with that one. I'm a little bit worried. I do like Mr. Chewy in that race, but we'll get to that later. And but enjoy your life. When you've said it all really, so I don't really need to say that much more. It was just a matter of whether I thieve the Sky Bet. I noticed are going 5 places at 5. I think it's 5 places at 5 to 1, which I think is if you can get on, that's an absolute steal, isn't it? I mean, it just really is. I mean, they must be mad. Like in that sort of, I mean, if you can get on, I doubt you can, but yeah. Enjoy your life. 5 to 1, 5 places each way if you can get it. What did you go, Lee? You went 2 on the nose, did you?
I went 2 on the nose at 13-2 with Paddy and Betfair. So you can have.
I've got a nasty feeling that there might be something else lurking in this race. So
every chance.
I do want to go each way with as many pegs as I can get. But 4 I'll take. 5's being just too greedy because no one's going to get on.
Well, you may as well go 4 at 6 to 1 with Bet365.
1.5 each way. 6 is 4 places. Enjoy your life with Ned Kelly riding.
Yeah, good old Nev.
For all the reasons you've said already, and of course the form also ties in with a horse who's really improved this year in Oscar's Moonshine.
Yeah, it has. Yeah.
Look at the form with that all ties in as well. So with Venetia at the moment, I mean, I wouldn't put anyone off doing. I mean, Brave Acca didn't run particularly well today, but I'm not sure that 2 miles is the right trip for that one. But enjoy your life, JLo and Frero Bamboo all qualify tomorrow. And I could might see a little Venetia multiple there.
Lovely to have a klaxon to finish the best bets round. Right, let's go on to the TV stuff. We've got to do 10 races in about 25 minutes. So I don't know how that's going to be possible. We might need some Nick Davis's to get through it. So, okay, we'll go to Newcastle first. We go to the Gillies Fillies Stakes, a listed race at 1:30. Vale of Shadows heads the market at 11-4. John, did you have any view here?
I did. I mean, for a start, it's an absolutely rotten race, isn't it?
Yeah.
No favourite in 10 years.
Martingale system, double up, John.
Well, yeah.
Rub your hands.
That's probably the system, really, Go all in on Vale of Shadows. She doesn't inspire confidence, does she? In fact, there was nothing here that really inspired. What I did think was that the Haggis team seem in tremendous form for this time of year, and maybe the cheap paces going on persist would eke out the required improvement. So there to go close, she's around about the 8 to 1 mark. It's not a race I'm gagging to have a bet in, I must admit.
No, me neither. I have got no view to play in this. Nev and Andy, anything to add to that?
Can I channel my inner Nick Davis?
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
Nev?
No, nothing at all. Don't like the race.
No. The 205 then. The 205 then. The Wentworth I've already tipped in favourite. Jonas?
No intention of going against you at all. I think if they retired this filly last year, they could have more or less put it to any prominent stallion and made quite a bit on the fool. So why would they continue? You know, I mean, there's got to be races in it.
Maureen was interviewed at Kempton earlier this week and asked her about this, and she said that it would be coming here for sure, and that it was potentially a make or break for the filly. But she sounded confident, as in like it's whether they continue. It wasn't like, oh, we're just trying to win another race. It was like whether we continue next year with her. So
Yeah,
they obviously feel that there is something there, because they won't be thinking, oh, we'll be continuing next year with her, if you know what I mean. So they're looking forwards to next year already. So I think I just think she wins. I think if she turns up even 85 to 90% of the sense of duty that thrashed Anna, we're looking at a, you know, we all thought as bar stewards earlier on this season that when she made her reappearance, she could be 115, 120 as a sprinter. 106 doesn't even do her justice, I don't think.
she's clearly got an excellent chance. I think the draw is good as well, because I can't see him rushing her into the front rank, and I wouldn't want to see her having to come from behind on this near rail if we're all bundling a bit.
Yeah.
I think 4's a good box for her.
Yeah, I can't see negatives there. Nev, Andy, anything to see?
Whilst I fully respect your opinion, I can't get the 7-2. I ain't playing at 2-1 on the filly.
Yep.
I do like Al Bashir as a horse. I don't particularly like the draw, and I'm not a massive Luke Morris fan either, but not personally, but in the saddle. And I did think he has run pretty well this year. I mean, he's running those two big handicaps, fourth in the Air Gold Cup, then that very good fifth in the Coral Sprint Trophy. I think he's a horse that, and they're probably obviously going to keep him going because he's a gelding. I think he's a horse for the top sprints next year. Be interesting to see how he goes here. They might keep him on the go on the all weather. Has he had a go on the all weather before? I don't think he has.
Could improve for it by Shamada.
First time, yeah. Just thought he was, yeah. I wouldn't say he's overpriced, but if you were looking maybe for a little, each way or something like that, then Al Bashir. But I've got no real strong opinion. But I do like the horse, and I can see myself backing him in a few sprints next year.
Yeah, you might go sneaky each way in the place markets with that tomorrow. I can see you weaseling around, sniffing round the place market bins.
Like when they've thrown out, the old yellow sticker jobs.
Yeah, just like you, Nev, with the place markets. You love sniffing around there.
Yeah. I'm assuming that this Haggis Fillies, she's had a serious problem. She was off for so long, 455 days, and she didn't reappear until September, late September. They went for a Group 1, didn't they? Ascot. They obviously want to get some more black type into her.
She already won a Group 3. I mean, this is where I think she's a good thing, because she already won a Group 3.
Yeah, I mean, they obviously kept her in training, and unless they could they have retired her, do you think? And then she didn't. I don't know. Maybe she didn't conceive. I don't know.
Barren, yeah, whatever. I don't know. But Maureen sounded confident at Kempton, and when Maureen's confident, I kind of quite like.
But she got the 7-2.
She'd won a Group 3. There was no reason really to keep her in training, was there? So maybe she couldn't get in foal, but the figures tell you that she should win. But she's coming on the back of a modest run at Ascot, isn't she? So something to prove, maybe.
But then again, there was a draw bias that day, and a Art Power, for example, that won the race, was sort of like making all. It was very difficult to make ground from off the pace as well.
If she hung, there's obviously a reason.
Could have been the ground. I mean, there are doubts. There are doubts to make you sort of wonder. I personally don't have any problems because she ran so well at Newbury the time before over inadequate trips, and she faces far inferior opposition now to what she's been running against. There's no Kinross in here. There's no Art Power in here, Nev. We're facing
drop down in class.
Yeah, we're facing handicappers. So if she don't win, it's disappointing. But there we go. 345 is the Virgin Bet November handicap. 4-1 Local Dynasty. 30-2 Temusius Fox, which I thought had a good chance. I've tipped Beras from the Camacho yard. I thought that was more value. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the November handicap. Obviously, John, you've gone with one smooth operator. Andy and Nev, have you any views on the November handicap?
I would rather it was run at Doncaster on a nice bit of heavy ground. That would make life a lot easier, wouldn't it?
No, it'd be good to soft. It'd be good to soft. They cancelled it a week early. They're fucking idiots. Anyway. Right.
You could have watered. Yeah, I respect your guys' opinion. I don't think it's a race I should be parting with any cash in, even if I'm sniffing around the place bins. There's an old favourite of mine in here in Chillingham who never quite got the job done this year because I thought it's a decent horse, and if I were to have a couple of bob on it, it'd be on him. But there's nothing I really like. Even if you even the Trends boys have had their fun stop because do they really apply when you've moved it from slop to Peter? Probably not.
Not at all.
I don't really know. It's not a race I particularly want to play in, but I shall cheer your two on.
Might be to Peter down at Doncaster in a couple of years.
Well,
anyway.
yeah, they could. As long as it's painted green, John, will be all right.
Purple, John says.
That's off to the king.
Neville, anything to add?
If Mr. Z gets the trip and he runs like he probably wants further than 1.25 miles, I think there's a good chance that he could be concerned. He's very consistent. He improved a lot for Chris Wall, and his new yard that he joined subsequently, Harry Eustace, has been eking out a bit more improvement. Good second to certain lad, but they were over 1.25 miles, so you take that on trust. Newcastle, obviously, as we all know, is a stiff track, but they seldom go quick in any of the races, even the sprint races. They don't go particularly quick on the all-weather. Mr. Zeed might improve if he improves for the step up in trip. At double figure odds, he could be a bit of interest, but it hasn't really got the normal November handicap ring to it, this race, has it? It just looks odd, doesn't it? 14 runners on the all-weather. It's just another handicap, isn't it? Really,
it's lost its luster. We love a slog at the end of the season. Musters even had loved that soft ground at Doncaster.
A Gosden improver, a 3-year-old Gosden improver in this race.
Yeah,
and there isn't.
But they're all being sold to Australia at the last sale. There's none left. The flat boys are all empty now. They've had the pockets.
We've got all the shit.
Yeah.
We've got that nobody else wants.
This is what you get now with the flat racing calendar. You're going to get 78 horses back in probably the EBO by the way the game's going at the moment. We go on to the jumps cards now, and we go to Aintree first, where they held an inspection this morning, which passed. But it looks very, very slow. The sticks are like have
you seen a stick reading that low before?
No, 2.9.
Fucking hell.
It's flipper and snorkel job.
This is real bad, isn't it? Real bad.
This is Red Marauder territory.
It is. So, with that in mind, then the Grand Sefton, you need a soup monster. I'm going to come to you, Andy, first. What's your idea of a soup monster in this?
Well, the obvious one is Jess Keel, isn't it?
Yeah.
Who was robbed in both of these, right? In both this race
don't tell me about
Sefton last year. Don't even talk to me about it from last year. That's almost as sickening as Maljimar getting done at Cheltenham many years ago. Yeah. That still sticks in the throat, that one. But Jess, he's been beaten here. He got beaten at nose, didn't he, in one of these last year? And the stable started really well. I think of the training duos, Greenall Guerrero duo are really going places. I really like that pair. And if you look at the record, if you want to look at the records of horses coming back in the last month off breaks, they've done really well, and the stable's doing really well as well. And they look to have a real star in that Iroko, one earlier in the week. It looks a really good horse, that one.
Yeah.
So I suppose Jess Keel is the obvious one. There's a few others in here that you could give a chance to. I think Cooper's Cross certainly stays further, and he's run over these fences before. Of course, he won the Sky Bet last year over 3 miles, did well in the Scottish Grand National. You've got to think that even though this is a shorter trip, that would bring him into it. The one I'd probably take a bit of a flyer with is Ferrero Bamboo. He's a little bit overpriced. I backed him last year in the plate. They didn't run particularly well in that, but the way our horses are running at the moment, and they tend to be a bit of soup monsters as well, so you'd have to give him a chance. So I sort of narrowed it down to those 3. Jess Keel, Cooper's Cross, and Ferrero Bamboo is a very strong traveller, and I think you'd probably be able to trade him at the very least. I'll probably write this race up for Treader's Corner tomorrow and give a few views there. I mean, Jess Kill's probably a bit too short to trade, but I think whatever you do on the race, I'd almost want to save on him because you know he's going to go. He must go well here. I wouldn't be convinced about Fantastic Lady on the ground. The Irish have only got one in here with Born by the Sea. Doesn't really inspire me, that horse. Nassalam's a really funny horse. Manila Trump's now a non-runner. Hard Shot's a horse I do like, but I'm just not fit. I'm never quite sure about his trip. So the three, I'd narrow it down to a Jez Kill, Cooper's Cross, and Pharaoh Bamboo.
Good stuff. John, do you think Oliver Greeno and Josh Guerrero are the real deal, or are they like Amos Brearley and Mr. Wilkes?
Well, I would hope they're not like Amos and Mr. Wilkes. We all know what was going on there, don't we?
That was when it was called Emmerdale Farm. Was Annie Sugden still in it then?
Yes, you were, yeah.
I actually...
Matt and Joe, top failed.
John, a few any view on this?
Yeah, it's knee deep, so you're going German.
Oh, yeah, Alderflug.
Yeah, and then system tells you, go German with least gear on, because there might not be bastards.
Okay.
So that gives you a Fantastic Lady.
Yeah.
Under 12 stone. But then system says, fucking hell, 12 stone when it's knee deep. We can't do that. So then you got next one down and Jesco.
Good system betting from John there on the suit. Keep it simple, John. That's it. Keep it totally simple. Nev, anything to add?
Yeah.
I can see there have been a few non-runners in this race. Fantastic Lady has been taken out before on soft ground, and I'd be surprised if Nicky Henderson would risk her, because he's spoken so highly of her as a potential Grand National horse that maybe he might think twice if the ground is really bad. Cooper's Cross is another one that I actually thought would want better ground than this. He was a good second at Ayr on good ground, and I did notice that he had also ran moderately on soft ground before, so it could really cut up. The obvious one is Jess Keel, who has got a great record round this track, second twice and ran well in the National, and doesn't look overburdened off 138, and also proved his well-being winning at Auteuil. So Jess Keel looks the obvious one, but it's over the national fences, so you wouldn't want to be going in too short. But if I had to have a bet, and I'm not going to have a bet in the race, but Jess Keel would be my selection.
So unanimous choice for Jess Keel from the three bar stewards. So we go on to the 320, which is the BoyleSports hurdle. 26,000 to the winner. West Balboa heads the market. The mare getting some lovely weight from Bruno per Storm and Miller's Bank. Personally, I thought Miller's Bank has lost the plot, and Bruno per Storm has got it to do to give West Balboa £9 at the weight. Neville.
Yeah, West Balboa has been declared to run at Wincanton on Sunday as well, but obviously won't take up that challenge. This is a race that has cut up very badly, 50 grand in prize money, and only three of them. One of them, Miller's Bank, probably is here for a confidence booster before he goes back over fences. He seemed to lose his way over the bigger obstacles last season. Bruno per Storm doesn't win that often, but is high class at the weights, has got nothing in hand. In fact, has got a bit to find with West Balboa, who will probably go off favourite and will probably be good enough to win.
Nev, John, anything else to say to that?
Yeah. The VH should make sure that anybody that took anything out at the overnight stage gets a claw hammer to the knackers.
Agreed.
What a disgrace of a race.
It is, really.
More prize money. We want more prize money.
Where's Sadiq? Sadiq usually enters one in these to collect £4,000. I know, it's terrible. Nev, you should be the new Sadiq sometimes. Think, right, I'll keep an eye for these races. I'll stick one in and get the £4,000 for fourth or something.
Criminal, this, isn't it? Criminal.
I blame trainers. We've got one on the show as well. Yeah, I blame him. Andy?
Wouldn't be a race I'd be playing in. I think West Balboa probably has the advantage at the weights, goes on the ground. Skelton's had horses beaten in this before, but in bigger fields. Not unlike you, I think Miller's Bank mucked around with that horse, something rotten. And I can't say I'm the world's biggest Brewing Up a Storm fan, so I think it's a race to let the dog out, take the dog for a walk, let the dog in, get some pate, or put the
Apply
kettle on.
liberally.
There you go.
Yeah.
Or do all of those at the same time.
Yeah. Right, I love it. Right, so that's Aintree done with, thankfully. We go on to Wincanton. 5 races. Jesus Christ, we've got 5 minutes to do it. 1:15. Me and Andy said our piece.
We're done.
Yeah. Nev and John, anything to add on the 1:15?
I said my pace as well.
Race, find an angle on anything at all.
Right, so me and Andy lead the way like Spartans, beating our chest down the Bourneville Boulevard, whatever that is. Right, anyway, right, the 150, the Rising Stars, Novice Chase. This is where we've got
Pumpkinhead.
Yeah, Pumpkin with the Nappers Hill. Nev loves Nappers Hill. He's obsessed with Nappers Hill, aren't you, Nev?
Sure,
Yeah, loves it. Loves
Should
the
win,
horse.
shouldn't
Yeah, I can't really see anything else, really.
he? He didn't do a great deal wrong, did he, on his chasing debut?
No.
I suppose if you could say that he might want the ground a bit quicker than this, although it doesn't get desperately soft at Wincanton. But if it was over hurdles, he'd win easily, and I thought he jumped well on his chasing debut.
To be honest, Nichols runners have been sort of needing the run back in October. A lot of them just turned up and got beat. Look at Tarmuris as well the other day. They got well kettled. I don't think the Nichols camp have been overdoing them for the first starts back in general.
If you look at those, Lee, if you take sort of the last month and look at all the horses that have come back from a 150 plus day break in the past month, he's about par with them. Like you say, he's had some run well and some have blown out.
Yeah.
No one is, none of them have really pulled up any particular trees, have they?
No.
If you want trainers who've been doing that, Emma Lavelle's been really good. She's been really on fire of late with those coming back from break. So's Kim Bailey as well, and Venetia, and Newland as well has done pretty well with them as well. And over in Ireland, Gavin Cromwell, they're the ones who've done well with horses off breaks. There's a few there who've done badly off breaks as well. Don McCain, Pauling, Sandy Thompson, they're all appalling off breaks at the moment, bringing horses back. They all seemingly need a run.
It's interesting to see, like, statistics so far. So, John, have you anything to add to that?
Isn't this the day when Pumpkinhead fans usually have a Lucky 31 up at Wincanton?
I'm going to say it's a meeting. Andy, is this right? He's
got 10. I did have a look at this. He's got 10. I think it's 10 runners he's got tomorrow in all in these. Yeah, he has. He's had 4 and 5 timers here before.
Yeah, he means it, doesn't he? Yeah.
I mean, the obvious blogger double tomorrow is Nappers Hill and Rhubarb.
Yeah.
The 150 and the 3 o'clock. That'll probably get you about even.
For all families at Wincanton tomorrow, won't they? There'll be Meg, there'll be Olive, there'll be his 14 kids.
New bird.
3 wives, new bird.
Has Nichols got as many children as Boris?
Probably.
Now there's an interesting question.
He's more likely to have kept a record of.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, there is that, John. Yeah. He's definitely got 10 runners here tomorrow. He's doubling.
You want to any in the House of fucking Lords, like Boris says.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
So I mean, going on then, we'll move on to the Badger Beer. Andy has tipped Honeyball with good reason. Neville, have you any view in the Badger Beer?
I did have a good look at the race, and I wanted to oppose Frodon, but in all honesty, if he comes back within a pound or two of what he usually does produce first time out, he could easily win this race again. 158 is definitely a workable mark for him. I was looking at further down the handicap, and I couldn't really see anything that I want it to be with. The big breakaway doesn't win very often. 300 through 5 definitely wants ground quicker than this, and it looks like the handicap has got his measure. And then you go further down to the Valley Griffin Cottage off 140. I thought looked high enough, and those 3 of the Honeyball horses they're nothing out of the ordinary to win a 70 grand handicap. So even though I certainly wouldn't get involved on Frodon, but I can see him winning it again. It's unoriginal, and the price is going to be probably less than what he ought to be for an 11-year-old.
I'm going to watch Sheffield Wednesday Millwall tomorrow. Fuck that. I'm not watching ITV loving on that. John?
You'd love to be a fly on the wall 4 days ago, Dick Cheat, when Nichols is putting the jockeys up and he says to Brian Frost. You're on 300 through 5 and Harry Cobb Dens riding Froden. That'd have been a hoot, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
No, 300 through 5 for me for the Pumpkinhead Lucky 31.
You're just finishing off your last bit of pay on toast at that point, I think.
Digby's just doing the necessary.
The 3 o'clock is the elite hurdle, and that's Rubord, his favourite for Pumpkin. As John has just pointed out, that this is where Pumpkin usually lines up a lucky 31. John, I take it you're not like swaying from the odds on Jolly?
They shouldn't have called it Rubard, they should have called it fucking Bard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rubard. Bang.
Yeah. Andy, Nev, anything on this?
Start from. I think the name of the race is a bit of a misnomer, isn't it? Elite. It's not the greatest running, is it?
No.
Where's Slow Royale? He usually runs in this, doesn't he? Where is he?
That's knackered, man. It's knackered. It ran at Kempton, didn't it, other week?
Now pits now testing for gas.
The only entertainment will be is how much mucking around with the market will be with West Bilboa, and how long it'll take Betfair to take the bloody thing out.
It might be a repeat of last week with the supposedly good doctor, Richard Newland, who failed to take out cruise control. Was it Richard Newland or Tom Lacey? I can't remember. Cruise control.
You get to see a good doctor in racing.
It was disgraceful behaviour not taking that out last week till that time. Punters were left with big rule fours late in the day.
You never know. Maybe Dr. Spock will get one with Milton Harris at some point. That might cure things a bit.
Nev, carry on.
Rubord.
Yeah.
Won the Scottish Champion Hurdle last year, improved, according to the handicapper, by nearly a stone. Would have to be bordering on, not Champion Hurdle class, but certainly Grade 2 class to win this off 11 stone 8. West Balboa probably won't run, but if she did, getting £9 would make it very close between them. 70 grand race, it's a poor turnout, isn't it? And I'd be with Rubord if I had to have a bet.
Nev,
only going to be 4 runners.
Nev, how much does it cost to enter one of these in these?
A 70 grand race?
Yeah.
Probably about 250 plus extra plus your normal 70, so probably about 300 quid.
Well, come on, Nev.
But of course you don't know that it's going to cut up, do you?
Well, just non-runner it.
Well, you know,
you love a gamble. You pay you like 2.5 and you're 70, so that's 320. This is like you know the game, right? If it cuts up and you end up one like Aintree, where it's 3 runners, you ended up running. I mean, you're doing windmills.
You do need a horse, Lee. You need a horse that is rated at least 120 over hurdles to run in this race.
Oh, is that right? Yeah.
So you couldn't run something rated 95 because it wouldn't be qualified. So you need something that's reasonably okay.
I mean, you think a lot more trainers would look at this. You know, like, say if you've got a few 120 hurdlers, Nev, yeah? Would you not, like, look at races like this to bring them out on the reappearance and just think, well...
So I didn't see the entries, but there might have been 15 entries 6 days before the race. It's still a gamble then. You don't know, do you, that it's gonna cut up.
Sadiq was the master. He was your master.
He was with that one horse. Well, he's retired now. His horses are with David Thompson's got them now, hasn't he?
There was one runner with Sadiq. Me and Christian Strangeway laughed our bollocks off when Sadiq had entered it in I think it was a 3-runner chase at Worcester, and it was quite a valuable one. It was like 2,800 for third. So the jockey on Sadiq's went off like the clappers. And he got to third last and couldn't jump it because it were knackered. You can imagine Sadiq in the paddock going, oh, good God, what have you done?
That was a horse that was rated 44, wasn't it?
Like, you could have just collected your 2,800 quid by setting off, just having a canter around, but no. He went from front and went bananas. I love that. That's sport. That's watching sport. When you know Sadiq's stood at paddock going, fucking hell. Digressing. Elite hurdle. A shit field, really, for the money.
It's poor quality. I'm sure JenningsBet are disappointed. So there's only going to be 4 runners, isn't there?
So 4 and a 3-runner race for £120,000 added, Nev. And you trainers are moaning about prize money. Sort it out.
And,
Oh, there you go. So then we move on to the 332, which is the JenningsBet Richard Barber Mare's Handicap herd. A nice prize. What we saying here, chap?
Pumpkinhead, Lime Avenue.
Of course, that is Nev's big selection.
Yeah.
Nev's very confident on that.
Why look further?
I agree with that. I agree with Lime Avenue. That's what I was looking at before the race.
Battle of the Wind-Ups, isn't it? There's 3 in here with a first-time Wind-Up. Vicky Vale, Lime Avenue and Space Voyage.
But these always work for Pumpkinhead, don't they? And has never had one go wrong.
And as John said in group chat, he goes, "Ain't it lovely punting national hunt horses in October and November, backing fat airy horses with wind-ups and tongue ties at this time of year? Isn't it lovely?"
And mutton chops and blinkers and risers and bandages. The fucking sellotape holding these fuckers together.
Anything to add on this, chaps?
No, I'll row in with Nev there and Lime Avenue. The Pumpkin's got to have about 3 or 4 winners from his 10 runners there at Wincanton.
That's the prediction. Pumpkinhead lucky 31s. Get on, folks. That if you
just got to pick the right ones because he's got three races with 2 in.
Indeed, so, yeah. Right. So lovely show. Thank you, John, Andy, Richmond, and Nev. We're back on Sunday talking a lot of waffle and crap. Don't forget to join us on Sunday for the sermon. It's action packed. That's all from us. Bye for now.